Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's find this, the equation of the tangent. We know that we are going to use y minus y1 is equal to m multiplying x minus x1. Here we can find the equation of this because we know that tangent is a line. So for this is going to be for our tangent, okay? For normal line, we will get m, but for normal, since it is the one which is perpendicular to tangent. Now, the relationship between two perpendicular lines is that if gradient, so here, what you should know again, wow, I'm explaining something again in this video, wow. For perpendicular lines, if we're to find normal, there's only one thing that changes. And it comes from this idea. For perpendicular lines, right, we say if grad of line 1 is equal to, say, m, then we say gradient of perpendicular line 2, okay, perpendicular line 2, let's say line 2 is perpendicular, it would be negative 1 over m. What do? You put a negative, then you flip, okay? So if let's say 1 was 2 over 3, the gradient of the perpendicular would be negative, then you flip 3 over 2, okay? 3 is now the top, 2 at the bottom. If 1 was 4, then for the other one it would be negative, then you flip. What is the inverse of 4? 1 over 4, okay? Because 4 is like 4 over 1. When you flip it, becomes 1 over 4. So anyway, that's what you must know. So for normal, that means if we wanted for normal, we would say still y minus y1. But now it is equal to, instead of m, it will be negative 1 over m, then x minus x1, okay? We put a negative, then we flip. This is for normal. That's the one which we'll use for our normal, okay? We'll do a question on that and we'll see. Let's do this one. I'm going to do this one and we see what's up, okay? Let's do this one and let's solve. So here's the one we're going to use. Then what is the equation? So here we're going to first need to get the gradient. Let's go ahead and let's find it. So this is our y. So you say y is equal to 2. We need to find m, okay? So you can say for m, okay, to find the m, you'd say y is equal to 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 1. M is the gradient. And gradient of a curve, we find it by differentiating. dy dx. Okay, this one we can just dy dx. It's so easy. It is going to be 3 times 2 is 6. We reduce the power by 1, x to the 2. Minus 5 times 2, 10. X to the 2 minus 1 is just 1. Plus the derivative of 3x is just 3. And the derivative of minus 1 is 0. The derivative of a number is 0. So you are done. Now, is this the end? No. Remember, where are you? You are at the point 1 comma negative 2. So in here, we need gradients of a curve change, right? We know that the gradient of a curve. If we find the gradient here at this point, it is like this, huh? It is a tangent, right? Tangent like this. But if you find the gradient at this point, it is now the tangent like this. So we can see that the gradients change, okay? So the gradient is, remember, it's the slope, okay? And we see it by the tangent. Tangent shows us the gradient. So here we can see that, okay, we need to know the point where we are. So where are we? We are at the point 1 comma minus 2. And this is the x, this is the y. Remember that, which will be our x1 and y1, right? So now we've been told the x, it is 1, okay? So we can say at x equal to 1, that means you now say dy dx. Dy dx will be equal to, we only care about the x position. Wherever there is x, we are now putting 1. 6 by 1 squared minus 10 by 1, then plus 3, which is going to be 6 by 1 squared is just 1. So it's 6 minus 10 times 1 is just 10, then plus 3, which we can put in the calculator. 6 minus 10, then plus 3. You should get minus 1. So this is going to be my gradient. You need to tell us where you are. This, let me tell you, dy dx is the gradient machine. It is the gradient, yes, but because the gradient is different at different positions, it is the machine. It gives you the gradient if you tell it where you are. So here we are at the point, we told it where we are, then it told us the gradient. So we can now say m is equal to minus 1. We are done. and we can get the equation. We have the equation already. So we would now say, we can say y minus y1 is equal to m multiplying x minus x1. Okay, so now you'll be saying y minus, what's your y1? y1, you show it here. It is minus 2. So y minus negative 2 is equal to, what is m minus 1 multiplying x minus? Be careful there. Be careful, because it is y minus y1. And what is y1? It is negative 2. So it will be y minus, instead of y1, we are putting negative 2. So be careful there. Is equal to m multiplying x minus, what's the x1 there? Here is x1. It is 1. Okay, you see it here. It is just 1. So x minus 1. And you're done. This becomes y minus minus 2. It's y plus 2 is equal to minus 1 multiplying x minus 1. Okay, if you want, you can expand and then find y. So you'd say 2 goes to the other side. You can first say y plus 2, you expand, is equal to minus 1 times x minus x. Minus 1 times minus 1 plus 1. Okay, because both are negative. Then you take plus 2 to the other side. You have y is equal to minus x plus 1. Then 2 is coming to be minus 2. So y will be equal to minus x. 1 minus 2 will be minus 1. You can put it in the calculator. Here is your final solution. That's the equation of the tangent. And you get all your marks. If they wanted equation of the normal, you do everything until you get m, right? But instead of writing this to say y minus y1 is m, you'd say now, okay, for normal, I'm just putting it here. You'd say now y minus y1 is equal to negative 1 over m x minus x1. So you'd say y minus, we saw our y1 to be negative 2, will be equal to negative 1 over, what was our m? Minus 1. Then multiplying x minus, what's our x1? We saw our x1 was just a 1. Y minus, you'd say y plus 2 is equal to minus 1 into this. Since there are two negatives, this negative and negative will cancel to be 1 over 1, 1, multiplying x minus 1. You'd now say y plus 2 is equal to 1 times x, x, 1 times minus 1, minus 1. Then this 2 goes to that side. You'd have y is equal to x minus 1, then minus 2, which becomes y is equal to x. Then you can put minus 1 minus 2 in the calculator. You get minus 3. This is for the normal. Okay, you do everything. That's how easy it is. And that's the only part that changes. You put negative 1 over. You first get the m. Then you say negative 1 over m. And then say x minus x1. You're done, and that's it. Bye for now.